Hello friends, welcome to my channel Tech IT Insights. Today we are going to discuss about the REST API services. What are the importance of the REST API will key role perform in terms of Siebel Inbound REST API, Siebel Outbound REST API services. Please subscribe my channel. For more details, you can come to know the complete of the architecture point of view and in terms of order management, a lot of the which I uploaded, and please go through that my previous videos. So what is REST API? Basically, now go for the REST API in terms of client request pass the methods. There are HTTP methods basically. The REST API methods get, post, put, delete. Whereas you are passing the request to the server and give the response of this here. The following is table summarize the 4 best useful HTTP protocol methods you get, post, put. Let's similar how today in our system we have a get, which is query kind of, where you will perform that. Post to create a new resources remote server, and put update the data in the operation what you are performing. And delete is generally record of deleting the purposely we are using this one. Basically, what is a REST API? The server receives the request and posts the format of the request response to that, and the first line of response containing HTTP code tells the client what happened the request, and will implement the REST API return to the proper HTTP code where there is a HTTP level methods you are mentioning, and the URL how you are passing in the server, that will tells that server to pass the response. Now, why REST API is so popular? Because of the how accept the application the JSON format. It's a fast retrieval, and it will give the immediately response based on the methods. So now relevant of the Siebel, to access this one, we are using HTTP Siebel server post port we can give it, and Siebel versions we are mentioning that supports the JSON response resources representation. And if you tells that here same has how hyperlink with the Siebel object business component, and it will the same way we will see that. So generally, if you see here, the representation I have mentioned here, middleware has, when you post the request to the XML like HTTP methods, and now you can see here, get is similar to Siebel operation to get the retrieve the Siebel CRM resources, which is data we want to retrieve here. Now post. The post method create a new Siebel resources, which is similar to insert. Now put, it's upset. It's similar to in workflows we are using upset, right? The similar way we are putting the here REST method is put method. Now delete. Delete method is delete the Siebel CRM resources. So here, if you see that we are mentioning the parameter has been application interface level SMC tool, where it has represented the component parameter REST inbound component. The parameter you are mentioning that it's similar to object manager is EA object manager. We are going to use REST response URL you are configuring, and the maximum connection and min connections we are specifying here. This is the first when you implementing the REST parameter has to check. This is the way now. Now how the URL has represented, you can see here. This just contain the protocol, where you can see in the previous LinkedIn, some of them, Bridget Pandey has uploaded this kind of representation. You can follow him. And I would like to hear the similar way in Siebel also, this AI interface, how it will represent here. This you can see in the application interface, it will pass to the here HTTP call, and SMS console will represent server where Tomcat application interface here, and browser when you call in the request, and here methods snap call with authentication will happen and will pass the request here. Now see here The REST API server deploy the wire file where a request. Users send the request to the Siebel application interface, and the application interface like an next approach the application access the data and like any channel. And application interface has web server for the Siebel application where when rotating to the information sent to the web client, and this API helps to complete the composition of the web pages forwarding client to server. Now, SMC2 is web-based application where you can see it allows you to configure the Siebel application component and save the configuration gateway server parameters, and then that we are present here. Now, integration object manager, you are representing the structure of the here config file, like where your proposed REST request is providing the response here, and that IO representation also we can use. Now, coming to the REST, we can expose our data layer and IO layer, business service, this all to as a REST. So it no need to do the development of the your multiple where querying the object, but they can query in the our repository, our BC layer and data layer, business layer also. Down the line, you can see that how it is present here that can be here. Now, this diagrammatic representation dynamic IO. So now in terms of you said the VO layer, when you Siebel server, Siebel.VO, and now consists the business service where server name and Siebel the server parameter where you represent here. Now coming to the URL, how we are representing how system will even today on our day-to-day latest upgrade versions or workspace concept also is work based on the REST services based only. Now service name and port, it hosts the IP address, and Siebel indicate the product name of the REST API. The version, if you see the /v1 is the REST API version like v.1.0, v.2.0 with type of REST API versions that those are. Now the server indicate the request of the server, which has to be in services, what type of services you are invoking, the business service layer and then data layer, those it will be representation. Now, for the more, I presented my LinkedIn page also, you can go through that. That will represent the Siebel Inbound. So far, we discussed Siebel Inbound REST API services. Now, let's see, now we'll go for the Siebel REST Outbound services, how it will represent here. The diagrammatically how it is there, how today in web service are similar to REST outbound also. Basically, they will give the Word file, or we can say this JSON file format where we are importing here from Siebel tools, that it will create a proxy services. IOs it will represent that you can see the proxy JSON format, and JSON property set will convert to the XML system REST services. Now, outbound REST similar to outbound web services. You can see here the bidirectional fully XML, the client two major piece of this here single suite where it will REST API will works, and query the data using Siebel transfer, convert to the result to the integration object from XML to JSON. This convert JSON payload into the integration object XML, read the CA. So two-way direction. Now to advanced HTTP client feature more, you can go through this link, which I already given in the LinkedIn page. Now support of the REST, this same verb, which I already declared, to REST contract with this PO business service data will be creating, and you can see here that to first you have to check the Siebel tools CFG level, full name of the REST outbound JVM subsystem, description will be there, REST outbound Java business service parameters, subsystem will be JVM subsystem, contains the local host port EML here. Now Following the section where you can see the file systems transport, where we represented the Siebel tools, and now we are going to get the JSON format and import to the wizard, and how we are representing the JSON, import the wizard. And if you see this JSON documentation, select the JSON file, import that. You can import that. Then it will create a one proxy services, and iOS will create. Now, the same way, you can go to the administration outbound web service level, outbound REST services, try to import it this here. The REST service you open here, navigation to the here. The endpoint here has to be configured, and the method has to be represented here. Now, the business service. Here, the business service is Swagger file. You can see this CSS REST outbound dispatch class will be there that represent here methods, and you can see the basically to convert the property set to JSON and JSON to property set using the vanilla services. Siebel XML to XML converter business service will help that to implement a outbound to PST to JSON and JSON to property set. This service this support 23.9 almost. In the documentation, you can see that. So before that, you want to understand what is Postman and Swagger. So this is Postman is API to focus the API provide to easy way to interface creation of the features. We can say like to mock the how we are testing. Now, in terms of related JSON, or you want to do testing using Postman. So here, Swagger is a documentation kind of tool, maintain user document API comprehensive format. So API tools to represent to enabling here. The key difference is here, Postman emphasizes the API testing, and Swagger to focus on API documentation functionality. So in terms of latest, when Swagger will documentation code generator, where Postman integrated with the CI/CD pipelines, Swagger works smoothly in API development tools, user interfaces. Like Swagger is defined for the API specifications and generate the documentation for the Swagger's point of view. This is the main difference. Now choose the Postman through API testing automation point of view, and Swagger is clear to comprehensive API documentation, faster, better understand the collaborating with Swagger we are using. Now, if you see here, you have to go through please go through this more details in the IP20 feature REST API documentation, where I given the link description. Please go through that. It will give the rep. So basically, if you go here, how the representation, the REST, as I said, the version URL are represented here. The methods we will support. You can go through this. Oracle API documentation will come to know how the will support here, and it will be it's clear information has given auth 2.0, whereas I said user authentication test base 64 you can see how the auth result will perform and how the Siebel resource server is response here. We can flow there. Now this document will represent both Siebel REST inbound, Siebel REST outbound services. So basically, if you are describe the here Swagger, and I have given this. So generally in online you can see the Postman, where if you are using the data layer, then you can use here. If you are using representation here, web business service, then service. If it is workspace, we are doing the method here, Postman, and you click next, data try to retrieve here from here. So basically, based on your IP, has to be properly, you have to in the real time, you have to represent here. Now, to representation access the dynamic object, please go through these links, which I will give in the description link. So that's it, guys. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you.